Welcome back, explorers of the uncanny. Buckle up, because tonight we're diving into a place where the welcome mat is more of a trap. And check out. Well, that's just a concept, not a guarantee. Yep, we're heading to that infamous motel at the edge of town, the one everyone whispers about in hushed tones. You know, the one the neon sign flickers like a dying heartbeat, and it just feels off. So, legend has it, this isn't just any old roadside stop. Nope, this is a trap designed for weary travelers, lured in by the promise of a soft bed and a quiet night. But what they find, it's something way more sinister. Picture this, you walk into your room, lock the door, and that's when reality starts to unravel. Imagine dropping your bags onto the worn carpet, which has this strange, unsettling pattern beneath your feet. You glance in the mirror, and for just a split second, your reflection ain't quite right. It looks older, more tired, with eyes filled with a terror you can't quite place yet. You shake it off, thinking it's just a long drive playing tricks on you. But then, out of nowhere, the television flickers to life on its own, blasting a news report about a missing person. And guess what? It's you. This is the heart of the motel's curse. These rooms don't just house guests. They consume them, trapping them in a bizarre loop of their own arrival. Every attempt to leave leads them right back to their room door. It's like a never-ending nightmare. The hallway stretches into an impossible length, the staircase spirals endlessly, and the world outside the window, just a static, painted backdrop. Now, we've gathered some accounts from the few brave souls who claim to have escaped, but their stories are fragmented and tinged with trauma. One man, a truck driver named Al, shared a chilling experience. He talked about hearing his own voice begging for help from inside the closet. Can you imagine that? He spent what felt like days just listening to himself, his sanity slowly unraveling with each desperate plea. The moment he finally broke down and opened that closet door, he found himself back at the reception desk, the same smiling clerk handing him the same key to the same room. And just like that, the whole nightmare would start over again. It's like a horror movie you can't escape. Then there's the story of a young couple on their honeymoon. They described how the room itself seemed to rearrange when they weren't looking. Like, 1 minute, a chair would be in one corner, and the next, it'd be in another, and the painting on the wall, it would subtly change, shifting from a serene landscape to something that looked like pure despair. They started arguing, blaming each other for the weirdness, but the real culprit was the room itself, designed to break them down emotionally. Their loop wasn't just about time, it was a psychological trap, forcing them to relive the same fights and accusations until love curdled into suspicion. Talk about a romantic getaway gone wrong. But what's really behind this twisted temporal prison? Some local historians have a theory. They say the motel was built over the ruins of an old, forgotten asylum where experimental treatments involving sensory deprivation and psychological manipulation were common. Can you imagine? Is it possible that the suffering and confusion of those long-lost patients somehow imprinted itself onto the very land, creating a vortex of distorted reality? The asylum's lead physician, Dr. Alistair Finch, was notorious for his belief that he could reset the human mind by forcing patients to relive traumatic memories. His methods were cruel and ultimately fruitless, ending in his own mysterious disappearance on the very grounds where the motel now stands. So, could it be his twisted ambition that fuels the motel's strange power? Is he the unseen hotel manager, still conducting his cruel experiments on unsuspecting travelers? It's a chilling thought, right? Every object in these rooms seems to be part of the illusion. The Gideon's Bible, when you open it, it's just blank pages. The telephone, no dial tone, but sometimes it rings. And when you answer, the voice on the other end is your own, years from now, whispering a warning you can't quite decipher before the line goes dead. It's like psychological warfare disguised as hospitality. Creepy, right? And let's talk about the guest logs for a second. The last entry for many of the rooms is dated decades ago. Yet locals swear they see lights on in those same rooms almost every night. They spot silhouettes in the windows, figures pacing back and forth, trapped in a silent, endless pantomime of their final waking hours. These folks, they're the permanent residents of Hollow Street's most terrifying establishment. Think about the sheer horror of it. Not a monster to fight, not a threat to run from, but a reality that simply refuses to let you go. You become the ghost in your own story, haunting the last place you ever felt safe. The lock on the door doesn't keep others out. It keeps you in. The repeating events, they aren't a glitch. They are the system, grinding you down until you forget who you are, until you forget there was ever a world outside that room. This is the terror of the motel on Hollow Street. It's a place that doesn't just take your life. It takes your timeline, your memories, your very sense of self, leaving you as just another echo in a room that is forever occupied. Now, let's dig a little deeper into some of these chilling accounts. Al, the truck driver, wasn't the only one to experience that eerie closet. Another traveler, a woman named Sarah, checked in for a quick overnight stay. She described how the closet door would creak open on its own, revealing a dark void that seemed to whisper her name. The sensation of being watched was so intense that she could hardly breathe. Can you imagine the fear? She tried to convince herself it was just her imagination, but the feeling lingered long after she left the motel, and the honeymoon couple, their story took an even darker turn. After days of being trapped in that emotional loop, they decided to confront the room. They made a pact to stay awake and document every bizarre occurrence. What they found was even more unsettling. The room had a pulse, a rhythm that seemed to synchronize with their emotions. When they argued, the lights flickered violently. When they laughed, the temperature dropped. It was as if the room was feeding off their energy, amplifying their worst fears and insecurities. Imagine being in a space that knows you better than you know yourself. That's the essence of this motel. It's a living entity, thriving on the despair of its guests. Now, let's talk about Dr. Alistair Finch, the man behind the madness. His experiments were notorious in the local area, and many believed he was trying to unlock the secrets of the human mind. But at what cost? Some say he believed he could heal trauma by forcing patients to relive their worst moments, like a twisted form of therapy. His methods were so extreme that many patients vanished without a trace, leaving only whispers of their existence behind. Could it be that his spirit lingers on, manipulating the very fabric of reality within the motel? What if he's still trying to perfect his cruel experiments, using unsuspecting travelers as his test subjects? The thought sends chills down your spine, doesn't it? Every detail in the motel feels like a trap. The wallpaper, peeling and faded, seems to watch you with 1,000 eyes. The bed, it's too soft, almost like it's trying to swallow you whole. In the bathroom, that mirror is a portal to another world, reflecting not just your image, but your deepest fears. As if that wasn't enough, the guest logs tell a haunting story of their own. Some entries are just names, but others have cryptic messages scrawled in the margins. Don't trust the mirrors. One read, "The walls have ears," said another. It's like a warning left behind by those who never made it out. Now, let's get a bit philosophical here. What does it mean to be trapped in a loop, both physically and psychologically? It raises questions about identity, memory, and the nature of reality itself. Are we defined by our experiences, or do we have the power to shape our own destinies? The motel blurs those lines, forcing its guests to confront the darkest parts of themselves. Imagine waking up every day feeling like a stranger in your own skin. The motel doesn't just take your time, it erases your essence, leaving you as a shadow of who you once were. The thought of being stuck in such a place is enough to make anyone's skin crawl. So, what do you think? Would you dare to spend a night there? Or do you think you'd be one of the lucky ones who manages to escape? Either way, the stories surrounding this place are enough to keep anyone awake at night. Thank you for joining me on this unsettling journey through the dark corners of Hollow Street. If you find these explorations into the unknown as fascinating as I do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Hollow Street for more stories from the shadows. Until next time, travel safe and be careful where you choose to rest your head. You never know when checkout might be permanently postponed.